Hello everyone, I'm Daniel Peters. Welcome to this Mastery of Metal guitar lesson, and thank you for watching. Now, I'd just like to start by saying that the Mastery of Metal lessons, I'm teaching you everything, so watch the other videos, you'll learn everything there is about metal. They're not fun. I don't care if you don't like using a metronome. I don't care if you don't find me amusing and doing all these funny things to get your attention that silly people do. This is to get you better at playing. They're practical. So this video is about how to eliminate noise from your heavy metal guitar rig. Now, this is a big problem, particularly because heavy metal is going to involve high gain. So I've, done a lot of research and it took me many years. I'm going to go through what I learned. So the first and most obvious thing which I've mentioned is the gain. Now, if you listen, there we go. I like to get that sound, and when you have high gain, I've got, high output pickups. These are Seymour Duncan Pegasus. I've got a Driftwood Purple Nightmare preamp running through our Marshall speaker. And I've got a Keeley Aria overdrive pedal. Sometimes I use a Kirk Hammett Ghoul Screamer overdrive, but I've always got overdrive. And I've also got a Zakk Wylde chorus pedal, which I like, and an NS2 Boss noise suppressor. Now, because of the overdrive and the high output pickups and just the general high gain, the first thing to do is learn to adjust your gain. There's always going to be a point where if you turn it up too high, it'll sound bad and you'll get feedback. So you want optimum levels of gain, and generally I keep my setting on my amp just a tiny bit lower so it sounds a bit clean, and then I crank the overdrive, and you can sort of find a sweet spot. But so that's number one for eliminating noise. Find the optimum level for your gain and overdrive. Okay, the second thing I learned is about cables. So as I mentioned, I've got quite a few pedals. When I'm at home, I also go through my loop pedal. Each cable that you have is going to contribute to noise loss and also just general noise and interference, if they're tangled up or whatever. So you need high quality cables. I use Damasio. I found in my research Megami Japanese cables are supposed to be the very best, but with your patch cables, you want them to be as short as possible. You don't want them to be tangled up, and you want them to be high quality. So that's your cables. Now, the third thing is to use a noise suppressor. I use the Boss NS2. Now, this is a very reliable noise suppressor. It's used by many guitarists, won't even go into it. But the tricky thing is how to hook it up. Now, many videos say to put it into the FX loop of your amplifier. And I did that and I found that it depreciated some of the sound quality. I've tried many setups for this NS2. And what I have actually discovered works best is I use it number one in my signal chain. The guitar goes straight into the input, and from the output, I go to my chorus pedal, and from the chorus pedal to my preamp or amplifier. Now, you'll notice that my overdrive pedal is not in there. My overdrive pedal is actually going through the send and return of the noise suppressor. So I use the send on the noise suppressor, that goes into the input of the overdrive, and the output of the overdrive goes into the return of the noise suppressor. This was one of the main things which cut out a lot of my noise. by taking that overdrive and just isolating it and putting it through the send return of the noise suppressor, just killed a lot of the noise. Now I'll show you what I mean. So with the noise suppressor, if you listen to this, that's it, muted, nothing. Take the muting off. A little bit of feedback, but just listen, it's under control, lovely. Now if I turn off the noise suppressor, straight away you can hear some noise. Volume up, and there's all that noise. Okay, so you can hear how my noise suppressor, and now my feedback's coming on. Now turn the noise suppressor back on, and nothing, perfectly silent. Okay, now the final thing, so that overdrive through the send return of the noise suppressor was good, but there was one thing which actually worked better. This was the final trick that I learned. This is a Boss power supply, and it has, this is a bit of a mess, but basically they call it a daisy chain. So all of my pedals were supplied by this one power supply, and the different outputs, the sort of jack outputs, they just go one after the other on the same wire. Now Boss are very good, like you can see there's just 1, 2, 3, there's about 8 of them, and they were powering all my pedals. Now this created a lot of noise and I did not realize it. So these daisy chain things, one after the other, they actually create a huge amount of noise. So I bought, and this is what I'm using now. I'll show you the box later, but I'll just tell you about it now. I bought a power supply which isolates every output. So it's got, each pedal has a separate cable running from the power supply. And it has a total of, I think, 5 outputs. It can also change and go up to 18 volts or 14 volts. I'm using it at 9. This eliminated all my noise. So your power supply outputs need to be isolated from each other. Do not use the daisy chain. Boss are very good, but for years I had like huge noise that I couldn't eliminate, and that's what it was. So yeah, I'll show you the brand that I'm using, but your power supply outputs need to be isolated from each other. A separate wire for every single pedal, or you know, whatever it is that you're running. And yeah, other than that, final thing, when you're playing, keep your guitar still. If you're playing, that's a bit noisy, so if I listen to my playing, just try to clean your playing up. And yeah, that's what my teacher told me anyway. I'm still pretty clumsy, you know, I move it around, but yeah, so that's my video about eliminating noise, and you should be able to eliminate all of it that way. And yes, so thank you very much. I hope that you like this video, and yeah, I hope that you watch my other videos, find it very useful, click like, subscribe, and yes, have a nice day. Thank you.